Hey everyone and welcome back. In today's video, we'll be discussing about how you can host static websites in Amazon S3. Now, AWS S3 allows us to host static websites, and in fact, this is a great feature. Lot of organizations typically when they have a static website and they want to include that for their main organizational domain, they have to create EC2 instances, they have to worry about high availability, security, etc. So now, instead of worrying about all of them, they can simply put their static websites in S3 and that's about it. So not only it helps them save a lot of cost, but they also do not have to worry about performance, scalability, etc. Now, these static websites includes the individual web pages which might include static content. Do remember that S3 does not support dynamic websites. So dynamic websites are something which rely on the server side scripts. It can be like a PHP based, a JSP based, ASP.NET, etc. So in today's video, we'll look into how we can go ahead and create a static website in Amazon S3. So I'm in my AWS management console. Let's go to the S3 service. In fact, we nowadays have a lot of S3 buckets which were available. Typically, many of them are being used for various other demos for the courses that we have. Anyways, let's go ahead and create a new S3 bucket here. I'll call it as KP Labs -website. All right. And we can just leave it to be the default value here for the region. I'll go ahead and I'll create it. Great. So once it is created, you can just search by the name. So we'll click on KP Labs -website. Now let's go to the properties. And here there is an option for static website hosting. I'll click here and basically you need to select the first option which basically says that use this bucket to host a website. So we need this. And now you have to specify the index document. So index document is something like, let's say that you use this S3 bucket for a website. Now S3 is also giving you an endpoint URL. So whenever a user clicks on this endpoint URL, what is the document that should be loaded? And that can be specified by the index document. So we can specify index.html here and I'll go ahead and I'll click on save. All right. Once you have done that, you have the static website hosting to be enabled. Now, the next thing that you need to do is you have to add certain contents within the S3 bucket, which will be used as a website. So for our testing purpose, what I'll do is I'll create a very simple file. I'll call it as this is a static website. That's about it. We are not going to learn HTML this time. So I'll go ahead and I'll click on save as and I'll call it as index.html and I'll click on save. So if you go to your directory, so there would be an index.html. So if you double click here, you should see that it is basically saying that this is a static website. Great. So now let's go ahead and upload the index.html to your S3 bucket. And I'll upload the index.html here. And I'll click on upload. Great. So now one important part to remember is that when you go to properties and go to static website hosting, you need to get this endpoint URL. All right. So I'll copy the endpoint URL. And when you paste here, you basically see that it is giving you a 403 forbidden. That basically means that whatever object that is uploaded within the S3 bucket, that object is not public. Now this website would be visited by the internet. So you have to make your object public so that everyone will be able to access it. So in order to do that, let's go to the permission. Now within the public access settings for the bucket, I'll click on edit here and I'll remove all the permissions which basically blocks the public object and its associated ACL and I'll click on save. Let's put a confirm. All right. Once I've done that, go back to the overview screen. I'll select the object. I'll go to actions and I'll make it public. Great. So now if I click on refresh, you should see that it automatically is saying that this is a static website. Now again, you can have a more better website. If you are good with CSS, you can create your own website and you can host it in S3. But for a demo purpose, I just wanted to show you on how exactly you can host your websites in S3. Now, before we conclude, let me actually show you one interesting thing. So you have a Amazon calculator. So this helps you calculate the cost of your resources. So this Amazon calculator, so if you see, this is directing to the index.html. So this is completely hosted in S3. So basically how it works is you select a resource. Let's say currently EC2 is selected here. So I can say that there is one EC2 instance. You can select the EC2 instance type. Let's say c4.xlarge. I'll close and save it. And here it basically shows you the estimated billing. So estimated bill here is $145. Now you can change the billing plan from on demand to, let's say, 3-year upfront and convertible. I'll close and save, and then it changed to $100. So this entire website over here, it is completely hosted in S3. So similarly, there are a lot of organizations, they put their websites in S3, and it really becomes simple for the organizations to put their website in S3, and that's about it. They don't really have to worry about anything else. So this is the high level overview about how you can host these static websites in S3. I hope this video has been informative for you, and I look forward to see you in the next video.